spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supersoul, Krishna, enters, as stated in the Subbala Upanishad. Prakriti adi sarva bhutanatar yami sarva sashi cha narayana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead existing as the Supersoul in all manifested universes. As the Supersoul in all manifested universes. The three Purusa avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are also described in the Satvata Tantra. Vishnu's tu trini rupani Purusha akyainani ato vidhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, and Shiradakshay Vishnu. In this material manifestation, the Mahavishnu or Krishna Karanadakshay Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita 547. Ya Karana Nanavajale Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidram. The Supreme Lord, Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestation, and the end of all energy. Back to the translation. I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Om Agina Taramandasha Gananjana Salaikaya Shakshu Militamina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Pradaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shmate Shiva Ram Swami Chinamane. Namo Vishnu Pradaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Chinamane. Namaste Saraswati. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and this 10th chapter. As I was checking with the introductions of Bhagavad Gita, there's as we go to look into the Bhagavad Gita, we understand there's 5 main subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, which is understanding towards the Supreme Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord, and then there's the Jiva, the living entity, ourselves, the spirit, and it studies Prakriti, material nature, and Kala, which is time, and karma, which is ultimately the temporary one out of all 5 of those subject matters. As we understand, karma is caused by our own selfish desires to enjoy the material world, separately than Krishna. And when we try to enjoy without offering our services to Krishna, and from our mind to our physical activities, we become bound in this world, and we incur ourselves entangled in the laws of karma, which prolongs our suffering in the world. The actual verse here is explaining that Krishna says that He's the Super Soul in all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. So the Super Soul is very interesting. It's what can I say? The Bhagavad Gita is such an advanced piece of literature, and it's taking in all the different angles of spirituality, ultimately, giving us, and Prabhupada's made it in such a nice way for us to understand. Ultimately, he's given us these amazing purports, which helps make the layman, the average person, if they choose to sincerely inquire, they can actually understand. He's made it very simple for us. And in the chapter 3, chapter 3 is entitled Karma Yoga. And it's very interesting, because in chapter 3, at the end, I think it's text 43, it talks about the actual stages of consciousness. And it talks, so I'm just matching this up, because Krishna says I'm the super soul in the heart of all living entities. And if we look at where the super soul is, it's actually, Krishna explains, the working senses are superior to dull matter, and higher than matter, the material elements, is the mind, and higher than our mind is actually the intelligence, and higher than the intelligence is the soul, and actually higher than the soul is actually the super soul. Actually Krishna is within the heart. He's our eternal witness, and so Krishna is actually, Prabhupada gives a nice example that God is in everyone's heart. He's in all living entities. He's in the heart of the ant, from the insignificant ant, even to the body of Lord Brahma. And Krishna's like a witness there, and it's like two birds on the branch of a tree. When we see those two birds, one is eating the fruit, and the other bird is actually watching everything he does. And we're like in the material body with the spirit soul. We're trying to enjoy sometimes the fruits in this world separately than actually offering our activities in devotional service. And when we try to enjoy those fruits, they bind us to this world, but there's a witness always with us. Krishna is always there knocking on the door. He's always witnessing everything we do, and that's actually the super soul. They're like the two birds on a tree. One's eating the fruit, that's us, and the other one is watching everything. And but Krishna is very kind. He's actually much kinder than we think, and he's always waiting for us to turn to him. So it says in Bhagavatam that actually Krishna wants us to come to him much more than we want to. So he's waiting for us to call or to inquire, and he'll direct us through the super soul, through the Lord in the heart. He also explains, Krishna explains, I'm the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. And even on the material platform, Krishna is obviously, he's the beginning, the middle, and the end, because everything in the material world is ultimately temporary. And on the spiritual platform, where everything's eternal, Krishna is also the beginning, the middle, and the end, because everything comes from Krishna. He has no beginning and no end. And everything emanates from the Lord. So Krishna addresses Arjuna in this verse. He actually says, Arjuna's addressed by Krishna. He calls him Gudakesh as well in some parts. He calls him Gudakesh, one who can conquer sleep, conquer the darkness of ignorance. And because Arjuna is actually always traveling with Krishna in different universes whenever the Lord comes to re-establish principles of religion and annihilate the miscreants and re-establish Dharma. He takes his devotees with him, his close devotees, and Arjuna, as a great warrior on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna is Krishna's arranged it so he's almost forgot himself. He's forgot his self-realization. He's become like a common man. So this is a great scene that's set that actually when Arjuna's asking the questions, he's forgot his Atma Tattva. He's forgot his spiritual realization through Krishna's arrangement, and he's asking to Krishna, for guidance. But he's now, because Krishna's helping him, he's certainly becoming more thoughtful. And so when he asks Krishna in the 10th chapter, because it's called Opulence of the Absolute. So, you can sit this side if you like. That's the side people usually sit when they in the class. Thank you, Hare Krishna. And so opulence. So Arjuna's asking on behalf of the common man in a way. He's very merciful actually, because Arjuna, even though he's acting as someone who, in a way, he's inquiring. He's also very merciful. He's got the symptoms of a great devotee, because he is a great devotee himself, and he's very merciful. He's got jiva daya, the mercy for the living entities that are lost in the material world, and he's inquiring. He's saying to Krishna, "Please show me your opulences," and Krishna's actually explaining that. Through this 10th chapter, that I've already showed you my opulences. I've already explained to you. Ahamsa vasya prabhavo matasava pravartante iti macha bhajante mam buddhi bhava samam vidaha. I am the source of all spiritual material worlds. Everything comes from me. I am the source of all spiritual material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service. They worship me with all their hearts. But Arjuna explains, not everyone can understand the spiritual energy. Krishna, please show me some of your opulences. Because actually, as we start to look into this 10th chapter, Krishna starts to explain his material opulences, and then Krishna says, "You sure, Arjuna? If I've got to, I'll do this for you, because you're a great devotee." So then he starts to get ready to show his opulences, and but Arjuna's, like you say, is inquiring for everyone, so they can start to actually understand that how great God really is. Sometimes we need that as being in a material body, being quite not so spiritual in this age. We actually need to see sometimes God's opulences. There's so many opulences, of course, but it's whether we can actually sometimes stop and look around and appreciate them. And because that's actually, Krishna says that as well in chapter 9. He says, always think of me, always meditate on me, become my devotee. Mam madabhava mam bhakto, mam yagya namaskuru. This actual verse is put twice in Bhagavad Gita, 9:34 and 18:65. So Arjuna's asking this to Krishna, and Krishna actually is very affectionate with him. So then he calls him Hanta, tender one. He says, okay, I'll show you my opulences, but only those ones that you can understand. Only those opulences that you can actually comprehend. Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda, Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman Chagorani Jai Ki Jai. So yeah, this because actually in Kali Yuga, we need to see more. It's good for us to actually understand that actually God has many opulences, of course. There's the first. Then as we go further into the explains the opulences, Krishna explains, I am like the sun, of all radiant beings. I am the sun of all the stars. I am the moon. And some religions, they understand actually God, his eyes are like the sun and the moon. I think that's in the Quran as well. It explains that Allah has his eyes are like the sun and the moon. Of course, these are the eyes of God, no doubt. These are his. But the actual sun is a reflection. The sun gets its rays from the reflection of the Brahma Jyoti, which is the Jyoti is the outer rim of the spiritual world. Of course, the effulgence of Krishna. It's actually Krishna's effulgence in his personal form. The Jyoti is from Krishna's spiritual body, and when that Jyoti, that reflection, comes out into the material world, it shines the sun. There's many different suns. There's many universes. There's one sun in each universe, and there's one moon in each universe as well. So actually the sun reflects, and then the moon gets the reflection from the sun. And then, like I say, the moon's got its beauty from the reflection of the sun, and the sun gets its glare from the reflection of the Jyoti, and the Jyoti gets its beauty from Krishna's original form. Because actually God is personal. He's a person, he's a personality, he's Bhagavan. And Krishna says of all the, all the monarchs, of all the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. That's actually Krishna's potency. Indra's working under Krishna's direction. He's just a deva. He's a demigod. There's the main principal demigods, Lord Brahma and Shiva. But then there's the administrative demigods, Vayu and Indra and other ones. But Indra, the king of heaven, he's working under Krishna's direction. Actually, everything in this world works under Krishna's direction. Mayadakshena prakriti suyachesa karakarnam. Hitu eno kuntaya jagadavipravartente. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. By its rule, it's created and manifested this material world. It's annihilated and created again and again. So not a blade of grass really moves in this world without Krishna's direction, without his sanction. Krishna's the ultimate sanctioner. There's always a lot going on in the world, of course, because especially the human beings, we're so in the mode of passion. We're always trying to create some new invention and make lots of money, and the world's in a bit of turmoil at the moment. I mean, it always is at some point. And we all think, there might be a war or something goes on, but obviously there's a lot of bad things going on. But actually the last straw is always under Krishna's. If Krishna lets it happen, it'll happen. If Krishna don't want it to happen, it won't happen. Something else might go around. But ultimately the soul doesn't die. Going on to that subject, it doesn't matter what happens ultimately. For the devotee, or one who is taking shelter of Krishna, there's no such, ultimately no death, because we understand. Actually, Srila Prabhupada's so kind when he came to the West at the age of 70 years old and left his life behind and surrendered to his spiritual master's instruction, and he came with all his books that he translated to Srimad Bhagavatam, and he come to teach the Western people, that didn't have a clue about anything spiritual, but he's come to teach us. The first thing he teaches, you're not the body, you're not the body, you're the spirit soul. We're all spirit souls. And he explains that's when a person becomes more serious in spiritual life, they will question, atata brahma jigyasa. Who am I? What's this place? Where do I go? Where are the goalposts? I can't take anything with me in this world. Sometimes you've got to leave it behind. There's many planetary systems. There's many, this material world is a very large place. But it's very small compared to the spiritual world. But we explains in the age of Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is Harinam Sankirtan. It's to chant God's names. Krishna and his name are non-different. So through chanting Hare Krishna, this cleanses the heart and releases us from the material world. Because this is so much suffering down here. No matter where you go, Abrahma, Bhuva, Loka, Punaravatino, Arjuna. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest are all places of misery where repeated birth and death take place. Even on Brahma Loka, there's birth and death eventually. He may live for so many millions and millions and millions of years. But Lord Brahma, if he's not God conscious when he leaves his body, samsara chakra, going round and round. We've been through so many species of life in this existence as a spirit soul. The soul never changes, but the bodies are changing due to our desires, due to our misuse of our free will, and we get a suitable body in our next life. Yam yam vapismaram bhavam tijati nam ananta kevalam. Whatever you think of at the time of death, that state you will attain without fail. But the human form of life is the most great fortune. It's a rare species, the human form. Prabhupada says it's rare throughout the 8,400,000 different species. Human form of life is for self-realization, and we should use this human form of life to get back to Godhead. Is in this one life is to actually seriously take to chanting God's names, Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam. Associating with devotees, offering our food to Krishna, offering our bhoga, reading the scriptures, and trying to spread the holy name. That's the whole point of being in the material world, is to share this knowledge, is to share it with others as well. Because then you can get, you get more help from Krishna then. Because when he sees you doing more surrender through passing on spiritual knowledge, but Krishna consciousness, then you get extra help. And through Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He's in the form of a devotee. He's non-different. Lord Chaitanya's given us in the middle there, in the yellow. He's given us the Harinam Sankirtan. Is in Kali Yuga that we should chant the holy name and every morning do our japa, and associate with devotees and offer our work to Krishna, offering everything you have. Yat karoshi, yat dadashi, dadashi, yat. Everything you own, everything you do, every way, anything that you offer, anything you give away, do it as a service to God, to Krishna. So this is very important knowledge. It's a daily practice, because we forget it quick. It's easy for us to forget. There's so much going on in the world. There's so many distractions, So we should rise early. Prabhupada said the best time for chanting is rising early in the morning. But we're born in the darkness of ignorance in this, this material body, and sometimes we just want to sleep. But Krishna is addressed, like we say. Krishna calls Arjuna Gudakesh, one who has conquered sleep. He can rise up. He's got a taste. He's got some ruchi, And when you've got a taste in spiritual life, if you can keep chanting and Krishna give you some taste, then you want to get up in the morning. You have a purpose. You need a purpose. The best alarm clock is purpose. Purpose for spiritual life is. I'm telling this to myself. I'm not just sharing this. I tell myself this. I'm very slow at developing in spiritual consciousness. But I'm very fortunate because I have the association of the Vaishnavas and also being a part of Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON as well. A safe boat to cross the ocean of Kali. If you can for us is to try and chant together when we kirtans and when you chant together, it multiplies the potency of the benefit. It cleanses the heart through chanting God's names when you chant together. And if you can rise early in the morning and chant and hear a class by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada gives many lectures, and it's very important to hear each day because it's a cleansing process. Like I was saying, each day we get up, we get covered easy by the material energy. Devi he sagunamaye mama maya darantaya mami viya prapanyante mayami tam tarantati. Krishna explains this material energy of mind, this divine energy, is very difficult to cross over, but for one who surrenders unto me, he can cross beyond without fail. If he sees us trying, Krishna's a super soul, as it says in this verse, I am a super soul. He knows our sincerity. He can see if we're trying, if we take one step, he'll take 10. In the end, it's all got to go anyway. So it's worth putting our heart into our spiritual life. It's better now to practice and inquire and become into practice, because eventually, when we're older, it's more difficult to do spiritual life. Some people say, "Oh, I'll do it when I'm older." It's harder to do it then. There's a nice the prayers of King Kulashekar. King Kulashekar says, "May the swan of my mind be wrapped in the lotus feet of your divine Lord Krishna." Whilst I am a young man and I'm still healthy, I want to meditate on you. Because when I'm old and my voice is choked up and I'm full of mucus and I have so much pain in my body, I will find it very difficult to concentrate on Krishna. So through practice sadhana means a daily practice. And Prabhupada explains that it's practice for the most important exam. And he compares, Prabhupada explains, there's man does so much revising and of course we need to work and we need to sometimes get good qualification to get good job, but he says we put so much time and energy in the material advancement, becoming educated, but he said this is not real education. Real education is self-realization, is to understand that we're actually not the body but the spirit soul, but the soul's constitutional relationship with Krishna as an eternal servant, and so through practice of sadhana and putting our time into our spiritual life, we're also preparing for the most important exam, which is death. So many lives we've been through, so many bodies, so many bodies, but the human form of life is so important because it's very. Compared to the demigods, Prabhupada explains, on the demigod planets, you get a good body, you live for thousands of years, but there's so much enjoyment up there. It's hard to look away, to become self-reflective, because there's so much enjoyment. It's hard to think of any suffering. And then on the other extreme, if you go to the hellish planets, Patala Loka, and there's so much suffering, you can't concentrate on anything good. But on earth, and this Bhumiloka, and earth, this earthly plane, it's sometimes you suffer, but not too much, enough to sort of pray and get back. Oh dear Lord, I'm suffering. Sometimes things are really good. Wow, I've got loads of money. Oh great, it's going great. My health's good, but it won't last very long. That's the nature of this world. So then you still pray. So there's always room for concentrating on Krishna, on the Supreme Lord. So that's why we should really make good use. Prabhupada said, make best use of a bad bargain. This is very, yes. I don't want to make it sound dismal, of course, talking about so-called death, but there's no death really, and that's the great fortune. We all have Krishna is our most dear friend. Actually, I forgot about this for a long time, but I'm just thinking that when no one's there for you, and maybe even on your deathbed, you may have some. If we're lucky, we'll have some family members. Maybe it might be some people, of course, crying and really sad to leave us and not wanting us to go. But every man or woman has to fly their own plane at a certain point, and when you got to fly that own plane, you do need Krishna is there in the back as the co-pilot, of course, as a super soul. And Krishna's always with you. So Krishna's our most dear friends. So I'm just saying that's why we should chant, and it's sort of like saying, it's praying to him for help and guidance and surrender. Dear Lord, please engage me in your service. But also we're saying, gratitude. There's gratitude as well, because we're by showing our time, giving our time and our energy, we should, and then Krishna will reciprocate. Yeah. So we nearly got about sort of 10 minutes. So has anyone got any questions or anything? Did anyone want to ask anything or any realizations? Hare Krishna Prabhu. Oh yeah. You got a quote by Prabhupada on the Super Cell, Srinivas Prabhu, yes? Is it? You can read it if you like, Prabhu. We got sort of 6-7 minutes, so if you want to, I'll bring you the mic here, Prabhu, shall I? Do you want this one? That's going to get me. Hare Krishna. Nice one.
Okay. I am glad to learn that you are getting strength in Krishna consciousness, so that you have decided to remain in the temple in the absence of your husband. This is very nice. We should learn to depend on Krishna more and more. Actually, Krishna is always guiding us as Super Soul, but due to our forgetfulness, we do not understand that Krishna is our friend everlasting. With advancement of Krishna consciousness, one is able to realize that Krishna is always with his devotees, not only with his devotees, also with the non-devotees. But the devotees can recognize his presence, and the non-devotees cannot. The more you make advancement in Krishna consciousness, you will see Krishna is everywhere, not only on the bank of the river, but also on the streets, trees, lamp posts, and so on. The more you see like that, you know you are making tangible advancement in Krishna consciousness. Actually, there is nothing but Krishna all around us. This is explained in the Gita. He is the taste of water, the light of the moon, the fragrance of the flower, light of the sun, sound of the sky, the power of the strong, and so on. But one has to learn it that there is Krishna in all these varieties of existence. Without Krishna there is nothing. It is simply by the influence of Maya that we forget the relationship with Krishna. Relationship of Krishna with everything that be. Yeah, so actually there's a quote by Bhaktivedanta Thakur, just to elaborate on this point. Should I?
Yeah, of course, please. Sorry.
It's a quick quote. He says, to perceive Krishna everywhere, one has to overcome the bodily platform. So women, he said, women, wealth and fame. But Prabhupada explains it. In other words, whether man or woman, one has to overcome the bodily platform. So one has to overcome the bodily platform, wealth and fame. And then one can perceive Krishna everywhere. So for that, come to that platform, one has to practice sadhana bhakti, which is coming to the temple, seeing the deities, morning hours. So that comes gradually. So maybe you can practice by coming 7 o'clock in the morning, gradually then seeing the deities, slowly getting used to the program, getting to chanting like that. Then you can perceive, in this way you get purified. And then in this way, your connection to Krishna will become strong, and in time you'll be able to see Krishna everywhere. Like Prabhupada explained in this letter, he explained this point, how we have to see Krishna through his energies. in this world, one cannot perceive Krishna directly. It's not so easy. But we have to learn to see Krishna through his energies. And by pursuing Krishna through his energies, at some point we'll be able to see Krishna directly.
Thank you, Srinivas Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay, so any more questions or anything? We can end there. Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Go Premanandi.
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hey. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hey. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rakshamam. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Padimam. Krishna Krishna.
श्री श्री राधा गोकुल नंद की, श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की, श्री गौरानिताई की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की बजाय जय गौरचंद्र आरती का शोभा चन्द्रजीने वदन उज्ज्वला विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्यता देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री